about today's quiz questions. Yes, the recording has started. So now first let us discuss about our quiz questions. After that, let us continue our class on modules. In our last class, we have discussed about modules, right? So today we are going to continue that. So these are our questions. This is our week 3 quiz, and this is our first question. Let me zoom in a little bit. I think you all can see clearly now. Okay, fine. So the first question is, what is the purpose of function in Python? So yes, it is a straight answer. Functions are used to perform a specific task. That's it. We don't use functions to declare a variable or to create a loop. Okay, it is a straight answer. It is used to perform a specific task or a specific job. That's it. The next question is, which keyword is used to define a function in Python? This is also a straight answer. DEF keyword is used to define a function in Python. So we don't use this function define FUNC keywords. We don't have these kind of keywords in Python. We have only DEF. We use this keyword to define a function. So fine. The next question is, what is output of the following code snippet? So here I am creating a function called greet, and this function is taking a parameter called name. And inside this function, we have a print function which prints hello, after that name, after that exclamatory mark. So basically we are performing string concatenation here, right? So there is a plus operator in between strings. Hello is a string, name is a string, and this exclamatory mark also a string. Why? Because it is present inside double quotes. Now here I am calling this function and I am passing alias as argument to this function. So which means now I will get output as hello alias and exclamatory mark. So option B is correct answer. And the next question is, what is the purpose of loop in Python? It is also a straight answer like functions. Basically, we use functions to perform a specific task. Similarly, we use loops to repeat a block of code again and again. So suppose if we want to execute a block of code again and again repeatedly, then we use loops in Python. So option C is the correct answer. So the next question is, which loop allows executing set of statements as long as condition is true? So while loop is answer for this question. Why? Because in while loop only we use condition, right? So depending upon that condition, the code present inside my loop will execute. So once the condition becomes false, means the loop will get terminated. In case of for loop, we give either range function or else we give an iterable as input to the for loop. Whereas in while loop only we use condition. So while loop is the answer, and in Python we don't have do while loop and until loop. Okay. The next question is, what is output of the following code snippet? So here I am using a for loop for I in range 5, print I and end equal to. So basically we know about this end parameter. If we say end equal to empty character, it gives us output in the same line. So that's what this end parameter do in Python. So here my range is, I am only passing 5 as parameter to this range function. So which means by default it is going to start from 0 and it will end at 4. Why? Because ending range is 5, right? So it will start from 0 and it will end at 4. So I am going to get output as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So option A is correct. So range will not start from 1. It will start from 0 by default. In case we are passing 1 comma 5 inside range function means, then it will start from 1 and it will end at 5. So like that range function works in Python. And after that, which statement is used to exit a loop in Python? So we know this is also a straight answer. So if we want to exit from a loop or else if we want to terminate a loop in Python, we use this break keyword. Okay, we don't use return keyword in functions. So we basically use this return in, sorry, we don't use this return keyword in loops. We use this return in functions only. And we use break and continue in loops. All right, so break is the answer to this question. In order to terminate a loop or else to exit from a loop, we use break keyword. Okay, next, what is output of the following code? So here I am declaring a variable called num and I am assigning 6 to that variable. My condition is num is greater than 0. So 6 is greater than 0. Of course, now the code present inside my while block will be executed. So first I will get output as 6 by because I am printing num variable, right? But also I am saying end equal to empty quotes, which means I am going to get output in the same line itself. It will not enter the new line. So by default, this print function enters the new line. If we use this end parameter, it will stay in the same line itself. So right after 6, I am going to get the next output. I won't get output in the new line. So that's the purpose of using this end parameter. We know this. And here I am decrementing the value of num. But here the point is, we are decrementing this num variable two times, which means initially it was 6. So what is 6 minus 2? 6 minus 2 is 4, right? So again check the condition. Is 4 greater than 0? Yes. So again 4 will get printed on the output screen. Next decrement 4 two times, which means 4 minus 2 is 2. So again 2 will be stored in num variable. Now check the condition. 2 is also greater than 0. It is true. So again 2 will get printed on the output screen. Now num is 2, right? So what is 2 minus 2? 2 minus 2 is 0. So 0 is not greater than 0. Now the condition is false. 0 is not greater than 0. 0 is equal to 0. So our while loop get terminated. So I am going to get output as 6, 4, and after that 2. So option A is correct. So fine. I won't get output as 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why? Because I am decrementing the num value two times. Okay. Now the next question is for I in range 1 comma 6 comma 2 print a. Okay, this is also based upon range function only. I am using a for loop here, and I am printing the value of I. So here my range starts from 1 and it will end at 5. And also I am incrementing two times. So this 1 is a starting range, 6 is ending range, and 2 is my increment. So first I will get 1 on output. After that I am incrementing two times, right? So instead of 2, I will get 3. After that I will get 5. After that I should get 7. But here my ending range is 6. So my loop will stop at 5 itself. Okay, so like this I am going to get output as 1, 3, and 5. Why? Because I am incrementing two times and my ending range is 6. So like this for loop range function works in Python. And the next question is, which keyword is used to execute the next iteration of a loop in Python? So we also know this. If we want to terminate a loop, we use break keyword. Similarly, if we want to move to the next iteration, we use continue keyword. So here continue is the correct answer. We have discussed this. So we use this continue keyword to start the loop from the next iteration. So basically, whatever the code that is present below the continue keyword will not get executed, and it will start the new iteration. So that's the job of continue keyword. And after that, we have another question here. So what is the output of the following code snippet? So here I am defining a function called multiply, and I am returning the multiplication. So A star B. So here I am assigning some default parameters. I am using some default parameters, and the default value of A is 2 and B is 0. So here, as I am returning some value, I am assigning this function call to a variable, and I am printing that variable. Okay. So here my function name is multiply, and I am calling this function, and I am passing two arguments here, 5 comma 3. So we already know this. It doesn't matter whether we have default arguments or not. If we are passing arguments means, then this 2 will get replaced by 5 and this 0 will get replaced by 3. In case if I am not passing 3 means the value of b will be 0. As I am passing two arguments here, so these two parameters value will get changed now. Now a will become 5 and b will become 3. So what is 5 times 3? 5 3 is a 15, right? So 15 is my correct answer. All right. 0 is not my answer. Why? Because in case if we multiply 2 with 0, I am going to get 0 as answer. But here I am passing two arguments, right? So the parameters which are A and B will now 5 and will now become 5 and 3. So if I am not passing any arguments means then the default values of A and B will be 2 and 0. As I am passing some arguments here, so these default values will get changed by the values which I am passing. So you should understand this. I have clearly explained about this concept also while discussing about default parameters in functions. So, and we have one more question also. So this is our last question. So what is the purpose of if-else statement in Python? Of course, to run a specific block of code conditionally. So we don't use if-else to create a loop, and we use variables to store data, and to print output we use print function. So here the remaining option is to run a specific code conditionally. So that's the purpose of if-else conditions, right? Depending upon some condition, a particular block of code will get executed. So here the thing is, if the condition present after if keyword is true means the code present inside if block will get executed. In case if the condition is false means the code present inside else block will get executed. So these are our today's quiz questions. I think I have explained all of the questions. Okay, I forgot to disable the chat section. Anyways, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. got highest marks. A lot of people got 12 out of 12. So Muhammad here, I have given more than 8 hours to answer this quiz. Okay, there are a lot of questions based on for loop. Sai Kumar, can you be more specific so that I can explain? A lot of questions are based upon for loop here. So this is one for loop question. I'm just using a range function here. That's it. So 1 comma 6 comma 2. Okay, you are asking this question. So here, the first 1 is my starting range, 6 is my ending range, and 2 is my increment value. So if you have listened to my class regarding range function, you will clearly understand this. So here, basically, I am printing the value of I. That's it. So first, the value of I will be 1. After that, I am incrementing 2 times. Right here, my increment value is 2. Here, my third parameter is 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So after 1, I will get 3 as output, and after 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, right? So I will get 5 as output, and my loop will get terminated because 5 plus 2 is 7, and here my ending range is 6, right? So I won't get 7 as output. My loop will be terminated after 1, 3, and 5. After printing 1, 3, and 5, my loop will get terminated. So here the main difference is we are using this increment parameter also. So basically we have 3 parameters in range function. Do check out the video on range function if you have any doubts. I have clearly explained that. Okay, fine. I have disabled the chat section. I think you don't have any doubts. So now let us continue our class on modules. So today is our day 18. So inside this folder, I am going to open VS Code. Okay. So here I am going to create a new file called as osmodule.py. So in our last class, we have discussed about modules, right? So let me quickly revise all those things. Let me open that GitHub link. So day 70. So we have discussed about recursion. Recursion is nothing. So if we have a function call inside the function itself, then we call it as a recursive function. So the function call should be present inside the function itself. So that is called as recursion. And after that, we have discussed about modules. So this is the file. We know that module is nothing but a Python file or else a piece of Python code. We call it as a module. That's it. So there are 3 types of modules: built-in modules, user-defined modules, and third-party modules. So in our last class, we have been discussing about built-in modules, right? So here built-in modules means these modules comes along with the installation of Python. So we don't need to install these modules separately. These modules comes along with the installation. So here the syntax to import a module is, so first import keyword, after that module name. So after importing a module, we can use all the functions that are present inside that module. So module is nothing but a separate Python file, that's it. So we can basically use all the functions that are present inside that Python file. So to call that function, after module name, we need to specify this dot, and after that we need to give the function name. As we are using a function name here, according to the syntax, it is mandatory to use parentheses. Now inside this open braces, depending upon the function, we pass some arguments. So that's the thing about modules. So here we have imported a module called math, and this math module is used to perform some mathematical operations in Python. So we can find square root. For that, we can use this math.square root sqrt method. And what if you are passing any number as argument to this method means it will return the square root of that number. So math.sqrt of 36 means I will get output as 6. Why? Because 6 into 6 is 36, right? So like this, we can use this math module. And we have discussed about a built-in function called round function. It will give the rounded value of a floating point number. So we have discussed about few functions available in math module like sine, cos. All right. Now we are going to discuss about another built-in module called OS. So I am going to import this module. So in order to import the module, we know that we can use this import keyword followed by module name. So here OS is our module name now. So as you can see here, the name is OS. So we can perform operations on our operating system now. Like we can create a new folder or we can delete a folder. We can create new files. So basically here the point is, so we have command prompt, right? CMD. So this is our command prompt. So whatever the commands which we can execute in this command prompt, we can execute all those commands with the help of OS modules. So if you are aware of command prompt and if you know how to create folders and files using command prompt means, so all those commands we can use with the help of OS module also. So in case in future, if you have requirement like you need to create a folder or create a file with the help of Python, then you can use OS module to do that. So here I have imported the OS module, and we know that in order to create a new folder, we use this function called as make the make dir. os.md mkdir, yes. So this mkdir is a function available in OS module. So mkdir stands for make directory. So directory is nothing but folder. So learn this new thing today. Directory and folder, they both are exactly same words. So let me show example folder. So this is our folder, right? So day 17 is one folder, day 16 is one folder, day 18 is one folder, and inside one folder we will have some files and also we may have some other folders. So here the point is, in case of Windows operating system, we call it folder. In case of Linux operating systems, we call them as directories. They both are exactly same words. So here we use this mkdir function to create a new folder. So mkdir stands for make directory. So I am going to pass some name here like new folder or something like that. So you can see here, I am running this command inside my os module.py function. So this is my Python file. Sorry, this is not function, it's a file. So os module.py, this is my Python file, and inside this file, I am running this mkdir command. So if I run this program, I am expecting a new folder inside this day 18 folder itself. So as I am running OS module.py file, if I execute this program, I am expecting a new folder inside this day 18 folder itself. So if I run this program, you can see here now, if I open this, you can see here I got a folder called as new folder. Similarly, if I say Python folder, and if I run this program once again, so I need to comment out this. I run this once again, and if I open my folder, you can see here I got another new folder called as Python folder. So like this, you can create a new folder with the help of Python. You need to use OS module, and the function which you should use is mkdir. So mkdir stands for make directory. Suppose if I run this program once again, you can see here I got error. So what is this error? File exists error. Basically, it is saying that cannot create a folder when that folder already exists. So here I am already having this Python folder, right? So if I run this program once again, I will get an error. Why? Because this Python folder is already existing in my Windows. So that's the reason why I am getting that error. So make sure that there is no folder exists with the same name while using this mkdir function. All right. Similarly, if you want to delete a folder, there is a command called rmdir, which stands for remove directory. If I say rmdir new folder, and if I run this program, you can see here I've got nothing on my output, but if I open this, you can see here the new folder has been deleted. So similarly, if I run this same program once again, I will get an error. This error is file not found error. Previously, it was file already exists error. Now it was file not found error. So if you are giving any wrong folder name means we will get an error saying the system cannot find the file specified new folder. Why? Because we have already deleted that new folder, right? And if we try to delete that folder again, we will get error. That's it. Why? Because this folder is not existing in our path. So like this, we can create a folder and we can delete a folder in OS module. And I know only these two functions. Why? Because I frequently use those two functions in OS module. And now we can make use of ChatGPT here. So we can see what are the other functions available in OS module. I think I created account with Google itself. Okay, so now options available in OS module Python. So we have all these functions available in OS module. So if we use os.name, returns the name of the operating system. So let me say here print os.name, and if I run this, I got nt as output. I don't know what is meant by nt. Next os.cwd. If I run this, so it is get cwd. os.get cwd. So you can see here I got the same path. So here I am getting actually I'm getting output. So if I print as my path, and if I print as end here, so if I run this program now, you can see here. First I got my path as output. After that I got my actual path. So inside day 18 we are present now. Inside day 18 folder, inside this day 18 folder, we have this os module.py. So as I am running this os module.py file, I got this output inside F drive in YouTube in Avanto Python. Inside day 18 we are present now. So if you want to get the current working directory, so CWD stands for current working directory. If you want to get the current working directory, you can use this get CWD function. So we have another function called as listdir. So if I say print os dot listdir, so this listdir is a function. It will basically print all the files and folders present inside this folder. So if I run this, you can see here I have only one file and one folder inside my day 18 folder, right? So here the point is currently I am inside day 18 folder and I am running os module.py file. So inside this day 18 folder, I have a folder called Python folder, and after that I am having os module.py file. So if I run this command os.listdir, it will print all the files and directories present inside my current working folder. So my current working folder is day 18, and inside day 18, I have a file called osmodules.py, and I have another folder called as Python folder. So this is the use of listdir. It will list all the directories and files present inside my current folder. And after that, we have mkdir. We have discussed about mkdir. Okay. So if you want to create multiple directories, we can use makedir's function. So if I say os.mkdir, and here if I pause folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, something like this. If I run this, you can see here I have folder 1. Inside that I have folder 2, and inside folder 2 I am having folder 3. So suppose if you want to create a folder inside another folder at the same time, then you can use this makedir function. So basically it will create multiple directories, one inside another. So like this it will work. And here the point is you don't have to remember all those functions. Even I don't remember all these functions. But as I have already told you in the previous class, so there are lakhs of modules present in Python. It is not possible for anyone to learn all those modules. So here you can make use of internet. You can use ChatGPT here to find out what is the use of each and every module, and depending upon your requirement. So here now you don't know about OS module. Okay, now you don't know about OS module. you are learning Python and you are working on a project. Now you have a requirement like this. Your requirement is you need to create a new folder with the help of Python. This is your requirement. Now, how can you solve that issue? So here, basically, you can search in ChatGPT or else you can search in Google. So your requirement here is I need to create a new folder in Windows using Python. Which module can I use? The search like this, then you can see here it has given me the entire code. First import OS module, after that specify your path, after that use this function mkdir. So pass your path as argument to this mkdir folder. It will create a new folder inside the path which you specified here. So as I am directly in my in this case at line number 3, I have directly given the name of the folder. So by default, a new folder has been created in this same directory itself. So inside day 18 itself, a new folder has been created. Suppose if you give path like this, then inside that specific path, your folder will be created. So like this, you can give path like C drive. Inside that we have a folder called a path, and inside that we have a folder called a 2, and inside that folder, create a new folder. So like this also, we can give a path or else directly we can specify the folder. If you directly specify the folder, a new folder will be created in your current working directory. So like this, you can search here and you will get an answer. So this is how you can make use of modules in Python. And apart from this, we know that we have a lot of built-in modules like after math. So here you can see built-in modules. So on that day, I have searched this. So we have date time module. So if you want to get the current date and time, then you can use this date time module. So here, let me ask another question. So I need to get current date and time using Python. Suggest me a module. So it is going to give me entire code, like how I can retrieve date and time. You can see here, we can use this date time module. So I will explain what is meant by this from. So I will explain that now. All right. So we can use this datetime.now function. And if we print this current datetime variable, we are going to get the datetime as output. That's it. So you can basically perform formatting also like year, month, day. After that, hours, minutes, and the seconds. So you should learn all these things. Why? Because if I start teaching this datetime module now means, of course, it will take 10 more minutes. That's it. But after that, there are hundreds of modules. I can teach all those modules, right? So here the point is you should learn automatically. Now you know all these concepts like how to import a module, what is meant by module. So what is this now? This now is a function. That's it, right? So from the datetime module, I am calling this now function and I am assigning the result to current datetime variable and I am printing that current datetime variable. That's it. So you know the meaning of this entire code now. All you need to do is search your requirement, you will get the answer. That's it. So I hope now you are aware of these modules now. There is one more thing here. So let me comment out this line. So previously we have discussed about math module, right? And now also we are discussing about OS module. So here the point is, if I say import OS, then all the functions which are present inside my OS module will get imported in my current Python file. Okay, let me repeat once again. If I say import OS, then all the files which are present inside my OS module uh, will come inside my Python file. So here there may be some 10 to 20 or even 50 functions available in OS module, right? Now I don't want to use all those functions. I need only one function which is mkdir. Now here my requirement is only to create a new directory. That's it. I'm not going to perform any other operations. I am going to perform only one operation, which is to create a new folder. So for that, I know that we can use mkdir function. Now I don't want to import all the functions. I want to import that specific function only. So what can I do means, so let me comment out this line also. And now if you want to, you have a specific requirement and you know that there is a single function which is going to fulfill your requirement. All right. So now you want to import that function only. So for that, you can use this from keyboard. So you can say from OS import mkdir. That's it. So here it is basically like reading English now. You can say from OS import mkdir. That's it. There is nothing to explain here. So from OS module import mkdir function. That's it. So if you want syntax means first use from keyword, after that module name, after that import keyword followed by function name. That's it. So this is your syntax. So if you want to, so here the need is, so if you want to import a specific function in your code, then use from import. All right. So if you want to import a specific function means you can use this from OS import mkdir. Suppose if you want to import remove directory function also means you can use from import from OS import rmdir. That's it. So it is better to use like this. Why? Because if I directly say import OS, it will import all the functions and entire code which is present inside my OS module. So basically, it will make my execution slower if I am working on a big project. So instead of directly importing the entire module, you can use this from and import. So from module name import specific function. Now instead of saying os.mkdir, you can directly say mkdir. I'm going to create a folder called here. I'm going to create a folder called using from. So now you don't have to say os.mkdir. Why? Because we are directly importing this mkdir function, right? So we can directly call this mkdir function now. So if I run this, you can see here I haven't got anything on the output screen. But if I open this folder, you can see here we have created a new folder called as using from. Similarly, if you want to delete that folder, you can do something like this. So rmdir from folder. So my folder name is using from, right? So using from. So this is my folder name. Now you don't have to say os.rmdir. You can directly say rmdir. So you can directly call the function like this. You don't have to use os. Why? Because we are only importing this specific function, right? So if I run this program, I will get nothing on the output screen. But if I open my folder, you can see here our folder has got deleted. So like this, we can use from and import keywords in Python. So these are few things regarding built-in modules in Python. Now we are going to discuss about how to create our own modules. So we have basically two things, right? I will delete these two empty folders also. We don't need these folders now, right? So now so we know about user-defined modules. Built-in modules are something which comes along with the installation of Python, whereas user-defined modules are modules which we create for our projects. So we are also allowed to create our own modules here. So how can we do that? So first, what is meant by module? It is basically a Python file, right? That's it. So first, I am going to create a Python file here called as calculator.py. You might have already guessed as I am saying here calculator.py. So now the module name is calculator and I am going to import this calculator in my other Python file. So, so inside this calculator.py, I am going to define some basic functions like add, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And I will show you how you can import this file in other files. So first, I am going to create some functions called as add, which will take two parameters, a and b, and it will return a plus b, right? So now I'm going to copy them. Now my function name is sub, which will perform subtraction. Now my function name is multiply, which will perform multiplication, which means a star b. Now my next function name is div, which will perform floor division. So it's my wish. I can use normal division also. So let me create new function called fdiv here. So which will perform floor division. All right. So here I have created a new Python file, and inside this file I am having some functions. That's it. So now this file can act as a module. So now let me create a new file called here as user defined modules.py. So I have created a new file called as user defined modules.py, and here inside this folder, inside this Python file, I am going to import this calculator.py file. So how can I do that? I can simply say import calculator. That's it. So how to import OS module? We can say import OS. How to import math module? Import math. Similarly, we can say import calculator here. So if I run this program, you can see here I haven't got anything on output. Why? Because I'm not printing anything, right? So I'm just importing this calculator. That's it. Now here we can make use of all the functions which are available inside my calculator file. So for that I can say it is same way of calling. I need to use print function. Why? Because here I am returning the values, right? These functions are returning the values. There are no print statements present inside my functions. So I am using print function, and inside this print function, I am passing my function call. So here my module name is calculator, and I need to call this function called as add. So for that I can say calculator dot add, and I need to pass two numbers here. So 4 comma 5. Now if I run this, I am expecting output as 9. You can see here on the terminal, I got output as 9. So like this, you can also create your own module. Similarly, if I say calculator dot sub 5 comma 1, I am expecting output as I minus 1 is 4. Similarly, if I say calculator dot multiply 5 into 2, which should give me output as 10. If I say calculator dot div 5 equal to, so for this, I should get output as 5 by 2 is basically 2.5 something, right? So now I am using fdiv. So if I say 5 comma 2, I should get output as 2. So if I run this, you can see here I got the desired outputs. So like this, you can create your own module and you can access all the functions which are present inside that module. I hope you understood this. And similarly, you can use from import here also. Suppose if you want to import multiply function only from the calculator module, then you can say from calculator import multiply. Now you can directly say print multiply of 6 into 6 comma 2. So 6 2 are 12. So if I run this, you can see here I got 12 as output. So like this, you can create your own modules and you can use them. So I hope you clearly understood this. Now we have one more concept here called as. So this as is a keyword. So it is used for aliasing. So basically here my module name is calculator, right? So suppose if I am feeling like this name is very lengthy, now I don't want to use this calculator name again and again. Now I want to shorten this name. Then for that I can use this as keyword. So here the syntax is import module name as MD. So what is happening here means, so now in my program, I don't have to use this module name now. Instead, I can use this MD. So now here my module name is getting replaced by MD. So here we call it as alias operation. So for that we use this as keyword. Now here, suppose consider my module name is calculator. And if I say import calculator as CL. Now I don't have to call calculator dot add 5 comma 2. If I run this, you can see here I got error. Why? Because now the calculator name is not defined. So I am replacing the name of calculator with CL. So instead of calculator, I can use CL now. Why? Why? Because I am feeling like this calculator name is lengthy, so I want to change the name of this module. So I have changed the name of that module to CL. So now in my rest of the program, instead of using calculator, I can use CL. So with the help of this CL name, I can access all the functions which are present inside my calculator module. So now if I run the program, you can see here I got output as 7. So now my program is running without any errors. So this operation is called as alias operation. For that, you can use this as keyword. Okay, I hope you understood the concept now. So these are few things about user-defined modules, and also there is one more thing which is quite interesting. If I say inside my I am performing modification inside my calculator module now. So here I am printing something. Suppose first let me delete all this. If someone runs this calculator.py file, they won't get anything on output. Why? Why? Because there is no print statements inside this calculator.py file, right? We have some functions, that's it. And that too we know that these functions will get executed only when we call them. If you are not calling these functions means they will not get executed. So we know the thing about functions. Suppose here I am having requirement like this. So if anyone is running calculator.py file, I would like to show them output as, so they don't run this file. This is a module. Import this module in some other file. I want to show output like that. For that, of course, I can use this print function. So here I am going to say, don't run this file. This is a module. Import this module in other Python file. So whenever some random person is running this calculator.py file means I would like to show this line as output to him. So if I run this, if he run these files, or if he or she runs this file, then they are going to get output as don't run this file. This is a module. Import this module in other Python file. Fine. Okay. Now suppose here I am importing calculator. So okay, so I have commented out all the lines. So in the line number one, I am importing calculator module here. All right. If I run this program, you can see here again I got the output as don't run this file. This is a module. Import this module in some other file. So what is happening here means, so whenever I import this calculator module, all the code which is present inside my calculator module will get executed. Okay, let me repeat once again. Whenever I import a module, to be more specific, a user defined module, then all the code which is present inside that calculator file will get executed. So as there is a print function here, this print function is getting executed and I got output as don't run this file. This is a module. So import this module in other file. Now we need to solve this issue. Here my requirement is I need to display this when someone runs this calculator.py file. Suppose if they are importing this calculator in other file and if they are running that again, so again they are getting the same output. So I need to solve this. How can I do that? So it is basically simple. So here the thing is, so first let me open HackerRank here. So here HackerRank. Why? Because I would like to show something. So if I say Python, so let me open a random. So what is your name? Okay, some random question here is asking me to log in. Yes, fine. Now you can see here at line number 13. Let me zoom in a little bit. So I hope you all can see my screen now. So at line number 13, you can see here I have a if condition. So I am not having, basically hacker rank is giving a if condition here, which is if name equal to main. So what does this mean? So what is the meaning of this if condition? So now we are going to discuss that. Suppose if I say here, let me print here the name variable. So if I print this, so this name is a special variable. We don't have to define this variable in the program. Why? Because this name, this not name, it is underscore underscore name underscore underscore. So this name is a special variable in our Python. If I run this file, you can see here I got output as main. Below our don't run this file, again I got output as main. So basically, the value of this special variable name is main in our Python. In case if I run the same line here, print underscore underscore name underscore underscore. So if I run this, so special, so let me comment out. So let me comment out line number 14 and also let me comment out line number 1. And if I run this, you can see here again I got main as output. So what is happening here? So here by default the value of this name variable will be main in the same file. So suppose if I am running the name, if I am printing the name inside my user defined module.py, I will get output as main. Similarly, if I run this, if I print this name variable inside my calculator.py, I will get output as main. In case, now let me comment out line number 2. I am importing calculator here. Okay, listen to my words carefully. You may feel this little bit confusing. So here I am importing calculator here, and inside my calculator I am having a print function. I have commented out line number 1, so ignore this now. So I am having a print function which is printing the value of name. All right. So if I run this program now, you can see here I got output as calculator. So what is happening here? So here this line number 2 print name is not executing. I have commented out this line number 2. So here this line number 14 is executing. Why? Because I am importing calculator module, and inside this calculator module I am having this print function which is printing the value of name variable. All right. So if I run user defined modules.py function, I am running the file in which I am importing calculator module. So if I run this file, you can see here I got calculator as output. So basically, so if we try to print this name from other Python file, then we won't get main as output. We will get that module name as output. So if I run this print name in my user defined modules.py file where I am importing calculator, I will get output as calculator here. So so now here the point is, suppose if I run this in the same calculator.py file itself, I will get output as main. In case if I run this in other file, I will get output as calculator. Why? Because now the value of my name variable is calculator. Why? Because I am importing that in some other code. Okay. So I hope you understood what is happening here. So here the point is, here my requirement is, so I don't want to get the output as don't run this file. This is a module, import this module in other Python file while importing the module. So if I uncomment this line number 1, and if I run this program, I am getting the output as don't run this file. I don't want to get output while importing. I want to get this output only when someone is executing this module. Okay. So to solve this, I can use this if condition here. So if name is equal to main, I am using comparison operator here. So if name is equal to main, then only execute this print function. Otherwise, don't execute this. That's it. So if name is equal to main means then only execute this print function. So now if I run this calculator.py file, you can see here I got output as don't run this file. This is a module, import this module in other Python file. Okay. Now if I run user defined modules.py file where I am importing calculator module. So if I run this file, you can see here I haven't got anything on the output. Why? Why? Because now have a look at line number 16 and 17. Here my condition is if name is equal to main. So what is the value of name while importing this file? The value of name variable is calculator, not main. In case of importing, the value of name variable is calculator, not main. So this condition will fail here and I won't get anything on the output screen. Suppose if I run calculator.py file, so inside this calculator.py file, the value of name is main. So inside this file, the value of name variable is main itself. So name is equal to main, condition is true, which means the code present inside my if block will get executed. So if I run this, now I will get the output. So basically, if you want a specific block of code to be executed in the main file itself, so we can call it as a main file also. So if you want to execute a block of code inside your main file itself means inside your main file only means then you can use this condition. So basically whatever the code that is present inside this if block will not come while importing the module. So here I am importing calculator file. So while importing this calculator module, whatever the code that is present inside my if block will not get executed. So this code will be executed only if the value of name is main. So inside my user defined modules.py file, the value of name is calculator. Inside my calculator.py file, the value of name is main. So now I am running calculator.py file. You can see here I got output as main on the terminal while printing name variable. Similarly, if I run user defined modules.py file, you can see here this time I got output as calculator. So basically this print statement which is present at line number 14 is getting executed. Why? Because I am importing calculator module. Okay. So while executing this line, I will get output as calculator. Why? Because so this name is not main here. This name value is calculator inside my user defined modules.py file. Inside my calculator.py file, the value of this name variable is main. But inside my user defined modules.py file, the value of this name variable which is present at line number 14 is calculator, not main. Okay, I hope you understood this. Suppose if I run this line number 2, if I print the value of name inside my user defined modules.py file itself means I will get output as main. Why? Because Inside this file, inside this user defined modules.py file, the value of name variable is main. But inside calculator.py file, it is different. So I hope you understood this point. So actually, if you see this in the hacker rank, now you don't have to get any kind of confusion. Why? Because so if name equal to main means basically the code present inside this main, inside this if block will not get executed if you import this Python file in some other modules. So for that they use this if condition. So let me repeat this definition itself once again. So the point is, so we use this if condition name equal to main. Why? Because so whatever the code that is present inside this if block will not get executed if we import this Python file in some other Python file. Okay. So if we import this calculator.py file in some other Python file, then the code present inside if block will not get executed. Suppose if I run this calculator.py file itself means the code present inside this if block will get executed. So that's the purpose of using if name equal to main in Python. And these are the few important concepts regarding user defined module. So like this, you can create a Python file and you can import this Python file itself into some other file. And we call it as a user defined modules. Why? Because I am creating my own module here, right? Here, my module name is calculator. That's it. So after that, we have discussed about aliasing. So if you want to shorten this name, you can simply say as and some new name. You can use any new name here. So now this new name will act as my module name. Now you should not use this actual module name. Instead of using this actual module name, you should use this new name after performing aliasing. Okay, all right. After that, we have discussed about from keyword also. So in case if you want to import a specific function, you don't want to import the entire code present inside your module. You want to import a specific function means, then you can use from and import. So after from, you will specify module name. After that, we use import, and after import, we will specify our function name. So with this, a single function will get imported from the module called calculator. So I hope you understood all the concepts of today's class. So I will enable the chat section now. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. So today we have discussed about user-defined modules in Python. And also I will explain this hacker rank problem. So after explaining this problem, I will give some hacker rank task also. Okay. So I haven't got any messages. Fine. So here, first read the problem. So you have given first name and last name of a person of two different lines. Your task is to read them and print the following. Okay. Here basically we have first and last, these two parameters here. Now we need to print output as hello first name last name exclamatory mark followed by you just delved into Python. So we need to print like this. So simply we can use a print function here. So like print hello, and we can use f strings here. We know the concept of f strings, right? So basically whatever the things which we place inside curly braces will get considered as variable names. That's it. So hello first space hello last. So this first and last are my parameter names. So I can directly use them inside my functions. So hello first last exclamatory mark. You just delved into Python and a full stop. Now if I run this program, so you can see I have successfully passed the sample test case. Now if I submit code, so yes, all the available test cases are passed. So like this here, so this is the reason why I haven't assigned any hacker rank task to you people. Why? Because here we are using this def keyword functions, right? So you might get confusion with all this. What is this if name equal to main? And in some programs they use import statements also. So what is that import and what are these first and last? You will get confusion. So now you know that. So now in the first name, they are taking input. In the last name also, they are taking input and storing in the last name. Now they are calling the function print full name and they are passing first name and last name. So inside this function, you need to print output like this according to the question. So simply you can use a print function. Suppose if they are asking you to return a value, you can use return statement. That's it. So like this, you can solve hacker rank task. Now you will understand the entire code which is present here. Like you will understand what is name equal to main means. Now you will know what is this def, what is this function name, what are these arguments. So what is the use of first and last. So now you can easily understand all these things. So now I can assign you hacker rank task. Okay. All right, the time is 8:17. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. So say that I am teaching you in VS Code. Why are you using Jupyter? Even I don't have much experience. Of course, I have used Jupyter, but I am comfortable with VS Code. So of course, so if you have any kind of confusion, means text me personally on WhatsApp. So what is your confusion? So people who have raised their hands, you can ask, you can text your doubts now. This hacker and code is nothing. So here So here they are taking input, they are taking two inputs. So first read the question, read the entire question. I understood the question, so directly I solved. You people first read the question. So read the input format. The first line contains first name and the second line contains second names, which means basically they are giving two strings as input. So you don't have to worry about taking input. So by default in HackerRank, they will take the input and they will create a function. And in that function, they will pass the arguments. They will pass the input arguments. So now you need to work on this function. That's it. Now here they will give you a first name and a last name, and your requirement is you need to print output like this: hello first name, last name, exclamatory mark. You just delved into Python. You need to print like this. So simply for that you can use a print function, and I am using f strings here. Why? Because we have clearly discussed about f strings, where whatever the contents that are present inside curly braces will be considered as variables. So here first and last, they are my parameters, right? So I am placing first and last in curly braces, and I am simply writing the prints. I am simply writing the content inside my print function, which they have shown on the sample output. That's it. So I am going to get that as output. After that, you need to run code. If you pass all the sample test cases, miss, then click on submit code. So Kalyan, how to install software in Python? What software? Are you asking about Python software itself? Means check out the second day recorded video. So your unique name is not a function. Basically, it's a special variable in Python. So fine. Now, if you don't have any doubts, means you can leave this class. If you have any doubts, means you can ask here. So I will explain about name variable once again. So basically, this name is not a function. It is a special variable available in Python. So here the point is, now just look at the line number 14. So in line number 14, I am printing the value of this special variable called underscore underscore name underscore underscore. I don't have to declare this variable to use it. Why? Because it's a special variable. And make sure that there are two underscores present before and after name. Okay. So if I run this, I will get output as main. Why? So basically, the value of name variable will be main. Okay. Just understand this point. So by default, the value of name variable will be main in Python. Now I am importing this calculator in other file. So in other file called as user defined modules.py, I am importing calculator. If I print this, I am not importing. I have commented out import calculator here. I am just printing the value of name variable inside my user defined module. Again, I will get output as main. Why? Because by default, the value of name variable inside any Python file will be main. Let me repeat once again. By default, the value stored inside my name variable will be main in any Python file. Now, suppose if I import calculator module, we know that if we are importing any module means basically all the code which is present inside that module will get executed. Okay. So now at line number 14, I am having a print function. So this print function will also now get executed. So if I run this time I will get output as calculator. Why? Because I am executing this line number 14 from other Python file. I am not directly executing this line number 14 inside calculator.py file itself. So listen to my words carefully. I am executing this print function from other Python file. While importing the module, this line is also getting executed. Why? Because if we import any Python file, then all the code that is present inside that Python file will get executed. That's how Python works. All right. So if I run this user defined modules.py file now, I will get output as calculator. Why? Because this line number 14 is now getting executed from the user defined modules.py file. So I got output as calculator. Okay, now this line number 16, it is also getting executed from the user defined modules.py file. Why? Because all the code present inside calculator file will be executed while importing it. Okay. Now, as I am importing this calculator file, now what is the value of name variable calculator, right? So value of this name variable will be calculator from other file. Inside this file, the value of this name variable will be main. But from other file, while importing it, the value of name variable will be not main. The value of the name variable will be calculator now. So you can see I got calculator as output while printing this name variable from other file. Okay. So now the value of name is not equal to main. It is calculator now while running from this file. Okay. So the code present inside this if block will not get executed. So that's the use of name. It is a special variable. So here the point is, so why should we use this means? So here if I run this calculator.py file, if I can, let me comment out line number 14. If I run this, I want to show this as output. Don't run this file. This is a module. Import this module in some other file. I would like to show this as output. So suppose if I directly use this print function, if without name equal to main condition means this print function will also get executed, and while importing the calculator module, I will get output as don't run this file. This is a module. I have shown this. So you can check out the recorded video once again also. So let me repeat once again. If you don't want to execute a particular block of code while importing it in some other modules, so you don't want to execute a specific block of code while importing it in some other modules. Here I am importing calculator module and I don't want to execute this print function. Then I can place this code inside this if block. So here the condition is if name equal to main. So basically this condition will become true while running calculator.py file only. Inside my calculator.py file only, the value of name is main. Inside my user defined modules, so now the value of name is not main, it is calculator. So calculator is not equal to main. Condition is false. The code present inside this if block will not get executed. Okay. So I have clearly explained about that name equal to main. So Kaushal, still we haven't discussed about third party modules. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about third party modules, all right? So don't worry about that. Now we completed built-in modules and we have discussed about user-defined modules where we have seen how to create our own modules in Python. Yes, of course, we can use multiple modules in a same Python file, Sindhu. So you can use math, OS, you can use your own modules also. Also, you can use third-party modules also. Inside same Python file, we can input as many modules we want. So Amulya, please explain from import. So basically, if you import a module, then all the code which is present inside that module will get imported. All the functions will be imported. Suppose if you want to import a specific function, if you want to import only one function, then you can use from one import. So from module name, import specific function. That's the syntax. So with that, the specific function only will get imported. So that's the point of using from import. If you want to import a specific function, you can use from one import. All right, now I am going to stop the recording.